Hey, stop me if you heard of this one. What was Adolf Hitler's least favorite month? July. Heyo! Did not see that coming. What's good, fam? Teacher Eddie back with another reaction. Today we're doing epic rap battles of history. Hitler versus Darth Vader. All three parts 1 through 3. Yes, you may be like, Eddie, haven't you done this before? I did with my mom, actually, and it was a lot of fun. We did it almost a year ago, but unfortunately a few months ago, some of my reactions disappeared from YouTube, so here we are. So this is going to be the full breakdown line by line, and later on I'll be doing the score of the battle, where I'll just listen to it without pausing and then grade the battle itself. But now let's get through the line by line breakdown.
Epic rap battles of history! Darth Vader versus Adolf Hitler! Begin!
I am Adolf Hitler, command of the Third Reich. Little known fact, also dope on the mic. You are Vader, with your little boots and cape and helmet to cover up that burnt-ass face. You have the Force to move objects. I am a Force truly evil, even went back in time and tried to whack as a pre.
Wow, so Hitler coming out the gate. I'm Adolf Hitler. He's all proud of it, right? So he mentions the Force, and the Force is, of course, the power of both the Jedi and the Sith in the Star Wars universe. It is the ability to control the Force, the thing that surrounds us, that binds us, right? Whereas Hitler says, I myself am a Force truly evil. So he doesn't need the Force. He is the Force. He mentions Vader's burnt up face. So Vader originally is Anakin Skywalker. The original trilogy, when it came out, the first movie came out in 1977. We just know Vader. We don't hear, we don't see Anakin Skywalker. We hear him mentioned when Obi-Wan Kenobi talks about him, for example, and it's not until the second film, which is episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, that we find out that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father, and he was Anakin Skywalker. But it's not until the prequels, that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, that we actually get to see Anakin Skywalker from child to teenager to adult to getting burnt up on the planet Mustafar after his battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi, who had the high ground and warned Anakin not to do it. Anakin was like, you underestimate my power, and then got his legs and arm cut off and then burnt to a crisp like some Popeye's chicken, right? And he's saying, Hitler's saying that they turned him whack in the prequel. Look, I was not a fan of the first movie, meaning episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Attack of the Clones was, okay. But episode 3, I will defend to the end of my days. I am a huge fan of episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I think it was a great movie. I'm also going to defend Hayden Christensen. I know it's cool to defend Hayden Christensen now, somewhat. A lot of people were upset that Hayden Christensen wasn't in episode 9 because he originally was supposed to be, and apparently he had filmed the scenes. He was going to be mentoring Rey throughout the movie. So a lot of people were actually defending Hayden, but Hayden just received hate upon hate upon hate for many, many years for his quote-unquote acting. But you really can't act shitty dialogue, George Lucas. So I'm actually a huge fan of Hayden Christensen. I loved his portrayal of Anakin Skywalker. A lot of people complained that he was too whiny and moody. It's Darth Vader. That's who he is. He's a whiny and moody little bitch. I mean, come on.
Well, cause look at you, you're not even a real person. I preferred you in Spaceballs, the Rick Moranis version.
Now, Rick Moranis is a national treasure, and Spaceballs is one of the best comedies ever, directed and written by Mel Brooks. I actually am old enough, yes, old. We went to see Rocky IV in the movie theaters in I think it came out 85. And there was a trailer, and we all thought it was another Star Wars movie coming out, because the last Star Wars movie had come out in 1983. and it was 85. So we figured, hey, the movies came out 3 years apart, 77, 80, 83. So 1986 is coming up, so it makes sense. But then we see it's a comedy called Spaceballs, and we're like, oh, God, really? Way to get us all like tickled and excited, and then boom. But when we saw the movie, we were like, holy shit, this is amazing. And Rick Moranis as Dark Helmet was chef's kiss. So he's saying he preferred Vader as the Rick Moranis version, Dark Helmet, in the parody comedy Spaceballs. He also had... I like how he's like saying you're not even a real person, and Vader's doing the robot over here. And that's a reference to in the movies where they say he's more machine than man at this point. I believe Obi-Wan says that.
Not even a real person! I preferred you in Spaceballs, the Rick Moranis version!
You can't rhyme against the dark side of the Force, why even bother? So many dudes been with your mom, who even knows if I'm your father?
So, again, great line here. Your mom's been with so many dudes, who even knows if I'm your father? So the meaning here is double. So, of course, the famous line in episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, is not, Luke, I am your father. It's just, I am your father. That's it. So he doesn't say, Luke, I am your father. He just says, no, I am your father. And also, it could be, well, not could be, it is a reference to, we don't know who Alois Hitler, which is Hitler's father, we don't know who his father was. So that's where you get a lot of the conspiracy theories that Hitler was actually part Jewish, that Hitler's actual last name was Schicklgruber. So that's the reference there. Very, very clever.
You're a pissed off little prick with a Napoleon dick. You call that a mustache? I call that Dirty Sanchez.
Dirty Sanchez reference. Hells yeah, son. Who hasn't done a little Dirty Sanchez? Put a little what are they? Scheiße. Scheiße. That's how you say poop in German. Scheiße. Put the Scheiße on your upper lip here. So Dirty Sanchez is the act of rubbing poop on someone's upper lip in order to create a little mustache there. So he's basically saying his mustache looks like shit. And the line before that,
you're a pissed off little prick with a
you're a pissed off little prick with a Napoleon dick. So he's comparing him to Napoleon, both in stature and in anatomy. So it's been a long-standing belief that after Napoleon's death, his penis was actually removed and placed into a jar, much like that of the mad monk Grigory Rasputin. Rasputin's penis apparently is... whereas Hitler's is... womp, 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 womp. I'm sorry, not Hitler, Napoleon. Let me read it. Napoleon's, who apparently was... womp, 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 womp. So Napoleon apparently wasn't packing that much. And I don't know anything about Hitler's dick. I know about his balls, or should I say ball. Napoleon also had one ball, as well did Hitler. A lot of people were like, well, that's a myth, or that was never proven. No, it was proven. They did find medical records a couple of decades ago that did prove that Hitler did indeed have one testicle. He lost that testicle during World War I. And also a little prick in the sense that they were both pretty short. Again, it's been proven that Napoleon was average height for his time. His enemies created all of those stories about him being so small and short and all that stuff. But they weren't tall dudes. They were both under 5'10", whatever they were, 5'7", 5'8". So yeah, and he said he has a Napoleon dick.
Napoleon dick. You call that a mustache? I call that Dirty Sanchez on your lip. You bitch. Let me remind you who you're messing with. Everything that you did, I'm the motherfucker who invented it. I'm the original Dark Lord. You're like the Sorcerer's Apprentice. My
Here, I think Vader hurts himself with these lines. So he's saying everything you did, I did first, which is a reference to all Star Wars movies starting a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So he's saying, well, everything we did in the movies took place way before Hitler's time, when in fact, of course, Star Wars is completely lifted off of World War II, as well as, serial movies that came out like Flash Gordon, which George Lucas was tremendously influenced by. But, I mean, they're literally called stormtroopers, right? Hitler had his stormtroopers, Vader has his stormtroopers, except Hitler's stormtroopers didn't miss. Even Vader's helmet, right? Based off of Nazi military regalia. So, in fact, it's the opposite. Everything that Vader did, Hitler actually did first. So Hitler's the original. And what was the other
I'm the motherfucker who invented it. I'm the original Dark Lord. You're like the sorcerer's.
The Sorcerer's Apprentice. So as it is mentioned in Star Wars by Yoda, that there are always two. It's mentioned in episode 1. Once they discover the identity of Darth Maul, and they say, well, there are always two, the Emperor and the Apprentice, right? A master and an apprentice. So you have the Emperor and Darth Maul. Darth Maul dies. It's the Emperor and Count Dooku. Dooku dies, and then it becomes the Emperor and Darth Vader, right? So basically, Vader is saying that in this case, he's the Lord, that he's above Hitler, and Hitler is just the Sorcerer's Apprentice. And of course, also a reference to Disney, which owns everything, including Star Wars, and the Sorcerer's Apprentice, which was one of the finest Disney movies ever with Mickey Mouse.
Apprentice, my stormtroopers make you.
Well, actually, there was also a Disney movie called Sorcerer's Apprentice with Nicolas Cage, and that was a steaming pile of shit.
Look like someone took a piece of shit and cloned it.
You stink, Vader!
Yeah, my stormtroopers make yours look like a piece of shit. Again, Hitler's stormtroopers were much better than Darth Vader's, because again, I don't think the stormtroopers hit anything in any of those movies.
Your star smells something sour! You need to wash up, dog! Here, step in my shower!
God damn. I forgot about that one. Step into my shower. Yeah, so the Holocaust, we got to touch upon that. So the mass murder and genocide of the Jewish people, but not just the Jewish people. We also need to remember that homosexuals, gypsies, mentally impaired people were also massacred during the Holocaust. It wasn't just the Jews. It's just the Jews were massacred in greater numbers, 6 million. And one of the ways that they did that was by utilizing a gas called Zyklon B in showers. So instead of water coming out of the showers, the gas would come out of the showers, and people died, of course. Prior to that, they had tried different things. They tried shooting people by lining them up and seeing how far the bullet could travel through people. So they would line several people up and shoot the first one in the head and see how many would die and how far the bullet would travel. Originally, Hitler's plans was not to massacre the Jews. He just wanted them to get the hell out. A lot of countries did accept Jews as refugees. America, unfortunately, was not one of them. And even during the war, when Jews they escaped Germany and they actually made it to American shores, they were turned away. So that's a huge black eye in American history. So yeah, step into my shower and meet your demise. Although I wonder if Vader's respirator would filter out the toxins.
Turn all your friends against you, just my speeches breed haters. What's your lightsaber versus a clan of all your white neighbors?
What's all your lightsabers versus a clan of your white neighbors? Clan, of course, can refer to the Ku Klux Klan, definitely not the Wu-Tang Clan. But he's saying that all stormtroopers are dressed in white. So stormtroopers are all white, whereas Vader is in all black. He is the Dark Lord. The actor who plays him is white, but the actor who voices him is James Earl Jones, who, of course, is a black man. So in Hitler's ideology, the whites are, of course, superior to black people. So that's kind of like, you know, all your white neighbors.
Suck my robot balls. Now take a step back and let me freeze yours off. A little carbonite back for your goop stepping ass. We'll call my homeboy in Israel. See who got the last laugh.
Yeah, so he's saying, suck my robot balls. I do wonder if Vader's balls got burnt up and if they were replaced or not. I mean, it's not like, you know, Vader's out on weekends at the club banging chicks. I don't think he's capable with the suit. Who knows? That would be an amazing storyline. What was Vader's sex life like? But he's saying, suck my robot balls. Let me call my homeboys in Israel and see who got the last laugh. So he's saying that Hitler was a failure in the sense that he never reached his ultimate goal of the final solution. The final solution, of course, was to exterminate all the Jews, which came into play in 1943. So again, was not Hitler's original plan, but it got to the point where, you know, they set up all these concentration camps, but they were like, what are we going to do with all these people? And the solution it was one of his top people, Heydrich. I think his name was Heydrich, yeah. Heydrich was the one who actually came up with the final solution. But the Israelis did get the last laugh because the Mossad and other special forces under Israeli, I don't think it was Golda Meir who started it, but it could have been. But basically, they hunted down most of the top Nazis who had fled Germany. Of course, Adolf Eichmann was the most famous one that they caught in the 60s. So they kind of got the last laugh. But this one, not my favorite of the three, but still great. But I think the third one is going to be my favorite. I remember the third one was really good.
Who won? Who's next? You decide. Epic rap battles of history.
Yeah. All right, now on to part 2. It looks like Stephen Hawking there in a wheelchair. Oh, so this is like an homage to episode 6, Return of the Jedi, when they rescue Han Solo from the carbonite.
Now stand up and ride.
Oh, that's great. Vader's the one who saves him. I completely forgot who saved him. It was Vader. So yeah, it's the same thing that happens in Empire Strikes Back, episode 6, which was the last movie of the original trilogy, which came out in 1983. I was fortunate enough to see that one in the theater. And it was Princess Leia who took the helmet off and said, because he couldn't see, Han Solo couldn't see when he came out of the carbonite, and he was like, you know, who are you? You know, who rescued him? He's wondering, and it was Princess Leia, and she said, someone who loves you, and Vader says, someone who loathes you.
You out so I can beat your ass a second time. Roar like Chewbacca, the voice of Mufasa. I'm on the leader of your lip, get Mufasa. I strike back hard against a Nazi. Brain toss your ass in the air. Yahtzee.
Damn. Vader coming in hard.
Bitch, now stand up and ride. I only thought you out so I could beat your ass a second time. Roar like Chewbacca, the voice.
Roar like Chewbacca, the voice of Mufasa. So again, James Earl Jones is the man who voices Darth Vader. And he also voices Mufasa in The Lion King.
So Mufasa, I'm on the leader of your lip, get Mufasa. I strike back hard against a Nazi. Brain toss your ass in the air. Yahtzee.
Brain toss you. So he's basically saying like he could use the Force, I guess, to toss Hitler around, which he did, like in Yahtzee. And Yahtzee, of course, is something you yell out when you get a perfect roll in the game Yahtzee. When what do you use, 5 or 6 dice in that game, or die in that game, and if all the numbers come up the same, Yahtzee.
Ask Indiana Jones who the fuck I am. I spit sick shit so focused I'll break your concentration camp.
Damn, that was a good line.
Indiana Jones who the fuck I am. I spit sick shit so focused I'll break your
I spit sick shit so focused I break a concentration camp. God damn. That so far is my favorite line. So far is my favorite line. But I remember in part 3 there was something with fired up that was hot. But yeah, so concentration camps were, of course, where Jews and other undesirables, like, again, gypsies, homosexuals, the mentally afflicted were kept. But he's saying, I spit this shit so hard that I break a concentration camp. But then there was the line before that.
Yahtzee. Ask Indiana Jones who the
Okay, ask Indiana Jones who the fuck I am. So George Lucas is the mind behind Star Wars, but he was also involved in Indiana Jones. Lucas, Spielberg, they were like BFFs. And if you watch South Park, they were a little more than BFFs. So they were involved in both Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and the common denominator and connection between those two universes are Harrison Ford, who plays Han Solo in Star Wars, and Harrison Ford also played Indiana Jones. And then in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the Nazis are involved in that movie. Indiana Jones is in the search of the Holy Grail, and so are the Nazis. And he actually runs into Hitler in the movie, and Hitler autographs his little book, which was actually had like all the details about the Holy Grail, but Hitler didn't realize it. So he's saying, ask Indiana Jones who the fuck I am.
fuck I am. I spit sick shit so focused I'll break your concentration camp. I'm a certified Sith Lord, you want? So suck on these.
These what, sir?
These robot nuts.
He went back to the well with the robot nuts again. And that was funny. Because stormtroopers are always like questioning Vader in the movies to make him repeat himself. And Vader's always like, motherfucker, don't make me repeat myself. Because I didn't stutter the first time, bitch.
I'm gonna enjoy watching you die, so let me do it, get my food.
You look stressed, Vader!
Oh, that was a great reference.
So let me do it, get
With my own eyes. So that's a callback to episode 6, again, Return of the Jedi, when Darth Vader, or Anakin Skywalker at that point, his redemption has come full circle. He saves his son, Luke Skywalker, by killing the Emperor. But then episode 9 anally raped us and said, all that shit that you've been believing the last 30 years, all your dreams in childhood, all that, right up your ass. But anyway, he kills the Emperor, and as Luke is dragging him, trying to save him, Vader realizes he ain't gonna make it. So he asks Luke to remove his helmet so he can look upon him with his own eyes for the first time. Luke is hesitant because he knows he's gonna kill Vader, but he does it, and they have that father and son moment right before he dies.
You look stressed, Vader! You appear to be in pain! You need a vacation. Here, take a trip on my tray!
Oh, God. Step into my shower. Take a trip on my train. So, of course, this is a reference to, again, the undesirables arriving in concentration camps in packed trains. A lot of them die during the journey, so they don't even make it to the concentration camp during the treacherous ride. They're packed in like sardines in a can, standing. The trip takes forever. It's terrible, just absolutely horrific. But he's saying, man, you look a little tired, man. Why don't you take a trip on my train, son?
You leading an army of white men? Disgraceful! Even your mic skills still aren't fully operational!
Again, you leading a bunch of white men, referring again to all of Vader's stormtroopers being dressed in white armor. Again, it's Hitler's racial belief system that, you know, the whites, and not just whites, you know, but pure-blooded, non-Jewish, of course, whites, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Aryan race. So a black man leading them is completely disgraceful.
You leading an army of white men, disgraceful. Even your mic skills still aren't fully.
Even your might skills aren't fully operational. So this is a reference to the Death Star, the technological terror of the universe that can destroy a planet. They're saying it's, you know, they're always waiting for it to become fully operational, and then it becomes fully operational. Now witness the power of a fully operational Death Star. Okay, it got blown up. Now witness the power of this new rebuilt... Oh, fuck, they blew it up again.
Operational. You got white bitch pregnant and gave into the hate. Now you're 6'6" and black but can't get a date. Lightsaber. You need a lifesaver. Use some of your force to fix your fucking respirator. You see.
Alright, a bad breath joke. That was kind of weak, in my opinion. Lightsaber, you need a lifesaver, fix your fucking respirator. So Vader does, so his suit protects him, because again, in the battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi, he gets burnt by the lava, he gets his legs chopped off, he gets his arm chopped off, he's a fucking mess, and the only way to keep him alive is to basically turn him into more machine than man. So the suit actually protects him and keeps him alive, as well as the respirator, which most likely his lungs were burnt while he was burnt, so he needs something to help with his breathing. But basically Hitler's like, man, your breath is kicking, son, like Jean-Claude Van Damme kicking. Take a lifesaver. But he had a line before that, oh, you got one bitch pregnant, and then you turn to the hate. So what really turns Anakin, aside from his own hubris and believing he's the most powerful Jedi, and then feeling disrespected when they don't grant him the role of master, but they do give him a seat on the council, but they don't grant him the role of master, so that pisses him off. But his whole motivation to joining Emperor Palpatine, who's actually the Emperor, was to save his wife, because he kept on having premonitions that his wife was going to die during childbirth, and that's actually, it does happen. Even though he does turn to the dark side with the promise that he would be able to save Padme, his wife. So he's like, you got one bitch pregnant, then you just turn to the hate right away.
Pregnant and gave into the hate. Now you're 6'6" and black but can't get a date. Lightsaber. You need a lifesaver. Use some of your force to fix your fucking respirator. You think you're powerful with your finger that pinches? You couldn't even get your own son into the family business. Everything you do is an epic fail. No.
Yeah. So he's saying your neck pinches, right? You know, kind of like Kids in the Hall when they would pinch people. But he's referring to the force choke. And he's saying you couldn't even get your son into the family business, referring, of course, to Luke Skywalker, who he tried to get to turn to the dark side, but he wouldn't. And so he failed at that. But then again, Vader had already mentioned pretty much all of Hitler's failures as well. But Vader was pretty much a failure as well in everything he tried to do, whether it was to get Luke to join the dark side, to find the rebel papers and recordings, everything pretty much he tried to do, not too successful with.
Now stand at attention and think fucking hell!
Think fucking hell. So yeah, Sig Heil was a battle cry for the Nazis and most Germans. Hail Hitler, Sig Heil. So Sig Heil translates roughly, I believe, to like victory or something like that. And then Hail Hitler, Heil Hitler. And then Hitler, of course, referred to as the Führer. The Führer roughly translates to something like the father. The leader, of course, but more like the father, the Führer.
What's wrong, Annie? Can't take anymore? Not surprising coming from the Emperor's hall!
Now, this one is now I remember this line because this one really bothered me, because it does bother me. I mean, the prequels, again, like I said, I will defend episode 3. Episode 2, I mean, wasn't terrible, wasn't great, but, you know, there was some amazing things in episode 2. Mainly, of course, Yoda fighting Dooku and stuff like that. Episode 1, trash. I know some people say they like it, but I can't get behind it. But what really pissed me off about the prequels was taking the most badass mother effer in the entire universe and reducing him to people referring to him as Annie. Like he's a fucking redhead singing show tunes with a big curly red afro. I mean, seriously, do you have... I mean, Anakin is a pretty cool name, but do you really have to refer to him as Annie? Come on, just stop. No wonder this motherfucker turned to the dark side. Imagine, you know, your name is Nick and people refer to you as like Nancy or something. I mean, come on, man. But I like the Emperor's whore. The Emperor, of course, being the ultimate Dark Lord, of course, and Vader is his apprentice. The Emperor's whore.
Yeah, take that. What's the matter? Where is the DJ? Why are you laughing?
Because you're standing over the rank orbit.
Hey, yo! Holster!
I gotta say, man, you know, I know I'm gonna do the grading the battle, but so far, I mean, I got the draw pretty much so far, I think. When I do grading the battle and I just listen through it without pausing, maybe I'll get, you know. But going into this one, I don't see like a definitive winner yet. All right, so here we have another callback to episode 6. A lot of episode 6 callbacks. Fucking Lincoln. The Sarlacc pit. There is so much going on right now. Stephen Hawking.
This is your last chance. Battle me or die.
So this is in reference to the opening scene again, where Luke Skywalker, who now is a Jedi Master, arrives at Jabba the Hutt's palace to rescue Han Solo, because again in episode 5, Han Solo is frozen in carbonite at the end, and he is sent off so Boba Fett can what is it called? Bounty, yeah, bounty hunter. So he can collect the bounty on Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt. And in this scene, Luke lets himself be captured, and he warns Jabba. He's saying, "Let us go, otherwise I'm gonna have to kill all of you."
Darth Vader.
I love that Lincoln's in this.
Martin!
And that's exactly what happens. Luke does this jump off the plank, flips around, comes back up, and he's thrown a lightsaber by Lando Calrissian. And then the fighting commences.
Screw you, you big black cunt!
God damn. He just came out, just, you big I ain't even saying that. I ain't repeating that shit.
You big black cunt! I'll kick your balls in your face! A war on two fronts!
I'll kick your balls in your face. Man, there's a lot of balls, man. For references to people with one testicle, there's a lot of balls in these 3 rap battles. A war on two fronts, so this is a reference to Hitler fighting a war on two fronts, from the West and from the East, when he decides to break the pact with Stalin and to invade Russia. So the war on two fronts was pretty much the beginning of the end and the downfall, much like it was for previous rulers like Napoleon, who tried to invade Russia. But he's saying he's going to fight a war on two fronts with Vader by kicking his balls all the way up to his face.
We'll crush the dark side like a rap apartheid. I put the jam into Germany. I'm sick on this mic.
Ooh, now that's something. Number one, I like rap apartheid. Apartheid was a practice in South Africa, which was eventually by, oh my God, Nelson Mandela. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. It is 3:18 a.m. right now, so I'm pretty tired, but I wanted to do this video. But he's saying he's creating a rap apartheid. But the next
Like
one,
a rap apartheid. I put the jam into Germany. I'm sick.
I put the germ in Germany. I'm sick on this mic. Now that, I mean, it has nothing to do with history as much as that is just a sick rap line.
On this mic. I beat you twice, you sellout. Now you bow down to Mickey Mouse. You call yourself a Dark Lord? You couldn't even conquer Space Mountain. You're just...
That didn't rhyme as much, but again, reference to Disney owning Star Wars, and now you can't even beat Space Mountain, let alone Star Wars.
a sad-ass medic robot freak who needs some loving. But I bet you something. Here, pop into my oven.
Oh man, 3 for 3. Hitler's 3 for 3. So in the first one, he references "Step into my shavas." In the second one, he references "Why don't you get on my train? You look tired. Get on my train." And in the third one, he references the ovens. So I like that continuity, even though, of course, I can't believe I'm saying that as a Jew, that I'm saying, oh man, I really love how Hitler mentions all the ways he killed Jews in World War II. So the oven was how they disposed of the bodies after.
Let me paint you a picture, son. Portrait of a bitch after World War I.
After the bodies were, after the people were killed in the showers, they then put them in ovens and burned them to ashes. Of course, this is also most likely a reference to how Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader gets into the suit. He gets burnt up, right? So it's a reference to both.
Pop into my oven.
Let me paint you a picture, son. Portrait of a bitch after World War I. You were stirring up the fears of the German people, telling the world that the Jews are evil.
Yeah, so there's a lot that happens in between there. You could check out my oversimplified reaction to World War II, where I go into great detail of Hitler's time during World War I. But Hitler did serve during World War I. The whole he was an incompetent soldier stuff is a bunch of malarkey. He was actually a well-decorated soldier during World War I. In fact, he was brought up for his heroism medals by one of his colleagues who was a Jew. But yeah, after World War I, he was disillusioned because Germany received all the blame, which put Germany into a depression because of all the reparations they had to pay. And then eventually Hitler rises up with the beer hall putsch, joining the National Socialist movement, the Nazi Party, becoming their leader, and then eventually rising, to the ultimate power in Germany through democratic elections.
You wrote a little book, got it fired up. Had a beer hall book, got it fired up. When your bunker started getting fired up, you put a gun in your mouth and fired up.
God damn, I knew it. The fired up stuff. I didn't remember what it was.
Stirring up the fears of the German people, telling the world that the Jews are evil. You wrote a little book, got it.
You wrote a little book, which was Mein Kampf. After the beer hall push, where the Nazi Party or the National Socialist Party tried a violent coup, but that was put down. Hitler was sent to jail. While he was in jail, he writes his book, Mein Kampf, or My Struggle, which becomes a bestseller. And in it, he does place blame on the Jews, and he works the fear of the people who have just been tired of being in desperate times, in a depression, after World War I, and he was a voice that was centering blame somewhere, and they were all for it, man.
Fired up, had a beer hall book, got it fired up. When your bunker started getting fired up, you put a gun in your mouth and fired up.
And when your bunker started getting fired up, so when the Soviets, and again, the Soviets were the first to show up in Berlin, and were instrumental in the fall of Germany. In America, we teach that Americans just did everything by themselves, and all we learn about is Normandy, 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 and that after Normandy, yeah, everything was over, and it was roses, and the Americans did everything, and if it wasn't for the Americans, if it wasn't for the Soviets as much. So the Soviets make it, and as they're closing in on Hitler's bunker, and they're about to fire it up, Hitler decides to commit suicide, along with his new blushing, bleeding bride, Eva Braun.
You dumb motherfucker, didn't Napoleon let you know when you conquer Russia, better pack some fucking winter clothes when you're fighting a Valkyrie? I got a...
So we already talked about that when Hitler tried to invade Russia. Much like Napoleon, while at first, Hitler was running through Russia, victory after victory, but then the battle stalled and stalled and stalled, and then the Russian winter came, and much like Napoleon, got to pack some winter clothes. Valkyrie was a plan to assassinate Hitler, Project Valkyrie, by his own people, because they were pretty much sick and tired of his shit. But the Gestapo learned of the plan and they foiled it. Even though Hitler was injured during the planned assassination attack.
Million clones, they die for me. My bounty hunters ride for me. Your homeboy finish this ride for me. They call me Boba Fett. You wanna mess with me? I'll put my balls in your mouth like Boba Tea.
Again with the balls. There's so many, so much balls. Many much balls. Muy balls. Boba tea. I actually love boba tea. Boba tea, also known as bubble tea. It is a delicious tea with these tapioca balls in them, and I love sucking down those balls. I roll those balls around my mouth and just swallow them with ecstasy and joy. There you go. Isolate that shit.
I got a jetpack, yo, I steal the show, cause when I rock the microphone, oh, sick hell no!
Oh, sick hell no! Yeah. Well, at least Boba does get to come back and battle Deadpool.
Oh, you're not going to cheat me, Mr. Sunglasses all the time! I'll take you and your new boyfriend Goofy and all your sperming soldier guys and throw you in a butthole in the sand! I am Hitler! Oh!
Your spermy soldier guys. So, of course, referring to the stormtroopers there. The butthole in the sand is the Sarlacc pit. Which is where Boba Fett gets swallowed up in episode 6, and what Luke was forced to jump into, but of course he didn't. But there you go. Ooh, that sound is so satisfying. It sounds like when you put a spoon in macaroni and cheese, or it sounds like some really good wet pussy. Either way, amazing. I wanted to wait on this one where, I pretty much forgot most of it because I only watched it the one time when I did the reaction with my mom, and I don't rewatch ERBs after I do my reactions. I will rewatch this one again later on, maybe today or tomorrow, and do the score. But again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks everybody for the support. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, it would mean the world to me. Patreon links are in the description. And as always, gonna shout out the Patreons as we get up on out of here. I've been Teacher Eddie, and I'll see you next time. Fam! And shouting out the Patreons as always, starting off with the Chancellor tier, Alex, John Alonzo, and Windwalker. The Principal tier, Addison Lynn, Blue Tech, Chad A, Clement, Freeman, Laura, Murikakari, Nathan, Punk, Quiet J, Robin B, and Vijandra. I've been Teacher Eddie, and I'll catch you next time.